Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Pete with MixBetterNow.com coming to you with a brand new Mix Critique Monday. Today is December the 19th, 2016. Getting towards Christmas. For those of you celebrating Christmas, and for those of you who don't, I'd like to wish everybody a very happy holiday season. Please be safe. Please enjoy it with loved ones. This will be the last Mix Critique Monday of 2016. I'm going to be out of town for Christmas. So I will be back, though, in January. So the first Monday in January, we will get back to it. Today we have three mixes. We have a track called Souvenir from Federico Lepre. We have Octagon from Billy Hudson. And then we have Temporary Happiness mixed by Michael Byrne. So we're just going to jump right into it here. First track up is Souvenir mixed by Federico Lepre. All right, let's check it out. Sounds great.
Un regalo, un recuerdo, como nubes en el...
Federico, I just want to say right away, this mix sounds absolutely fantastic. Sounds amazing in my headphones. I am using the Reference 3 plugin from SonarWorks. So I got my calibration going here. I mix and reference on my Sennheiser HD 650s, which I love. And you can see the curves that we got going on here. So really getting a very true reflection of the mix in my cans. Love it. And like I said, thus far, it sounds really, really good. So let's keep going.
Cielo, se lo lleva el viento, tantas fotos, tantas flores, que confundo los colores, no dejan de brillar. Ya borré tu voz de mi corazón, olvidé tu nombre. Ya viajé al mar para respirar, sentirse bien, no está de más. Porque este amor fue todo para mí y hoy ya no lo siento así, tan solo queda el souvenir. Inventaré mis sueños, ¿qué será?
This mix is so great. It's really hard to kind of pick something out and say, hey, I would change this or do this differently. I think you're killing it right now. Personally, as a taste thing, one thing that I would do is I might put a little bit more wetness on her vocal. To me, her vocal feels a little bit here, and I kind of want it just a little bit back farther into the mix. But I mean, tonally, it sounds great. Everything has its own place. EQ-wise, I'm not hearing anything kind of poke its head out in a nasty way. There's no lack of anything. I think the drums sound great. The bass is sounding amazing. I like what you've done with the acoustic guitar here. It's a busier track with some instrumentation, quite a bit of instrumentation on it. And what I like is that I can really hear that, that pick coming through, because depending on what kind of pick you use, and when you track acoustic guitars in a busier mix, a lot of the time, it's kind of a tightrope to walk where, you can actually hear the acoustic where it has its own place in there. Because sometimes it can get too bright, if you want to push it out front. So I find that really accentuating the pick attack, for like those percussive elements there. It's really coming through, and I can tell that the acoustic guitar is there. The accordion or the squeeze box or whatever that is, I mean, that sounds fantastic. Definitely sounds like a real instrument, like, not a VI or anything like that. I would just I'd like to hear like a little more plate on her vocal, and maybe something like an eighth note or a dotted eighth note, just so it kind of gives it just a little bit of depth. But I mean, that's not even a must. That's a personal taste thing. So let's keep going here.
Canciones en algún lugar que vengan para rescatarme. Un misterio llega el tiempo, son las marcas del camino cuando vamos distraídos.
Love how you have the bass guitar really locked in with the kick. It's really giving the bottom end a whole lot of nice weight, punch, definition, in a really good mix.
No dejo de pensar, ya borré tu voz de mi corazón, olvidé tu nombre, ya viajé al mar para respirar, sentirse bien, no está de más.
Okay, so that repetition of the vocal there, that was kind of panned out left and right in my cans. It was a little bit hard to hear that. It was a little bit muddy and a little bit quiet, so I'd probably bring that up a bit. I would add some top end to the EQ on the BGVs, the background vocals. I like that they're in stereo. That's really cool because it's not getting in the way of the lead vocal, which is right up the middle in mono, which is really where I like it, where it should be. But I would brighten those up a little bit. Maybe the answer for that might be actually doing some subtractive EQ. If you remove some low end and some low mids or some mid range, you might be able to bring out some more of the brightness. But I would push that up a little bit, and maybe do like, you could pull some kind of vocal effect on it. Maybe just do like one quick delay throw or something like that. Just keeping it all tame. It's very tastefully done so far, and I think this is a great example of a mix. For everyone out there who's watching, and didn't submit a mix, this is a really good example of a really well done mix where it's really hard to kind of pick it up. I don't like to pick things apart. I just want to help you guys maximize your mixes, your mixing potential, and provide any help that I can. So I'm excited to keep going here.
Porque este amor fue todo para mí y hoy ya no lo siento así, tan solo queda el souvenir. Inventaré mis sueños que serán canciones en algún lugar que vengan para rescatarme.
Okay, so those claps right there, it sounds to me like they were recorded in a very small room with minimal treatment on the walls. I can almost hear the reflection from the drywall or something like that. Now, it could be that it's intended that way, but almost the producer in me hears how that can actually get a little bit bigger. You can certainly treat the claps, throw some room verb on them, make them sound a little bit bigger, push them a little wider and a little bit deeper, compress the claps a little bit harder, use some parallel compression. I love putting parallel compression on hand claps because hand claps can be a really tricky thing to get right in a mix. I find that whenever I'm recording stuff, I will always have to do multiple takes of claps. Just doing one into a mic, you're not going to get a whole lot of impact. But by using parallel compression, by using room reverb, you can certainly make those sound gigantic. And I think that would sound cool here. That's such a cool squeeze box, man. Love the solo.
Porque este amor fue todo para mí y hoy ya no lo siento así, tan solo queda el souvenir. Inventaré.
Yeah, I would definitely clean up those background vocals, panned hard left and right. I think with a little bit of cleaning up some of the low mids, I think those are really going to pop. Maybe try something like an 8K shelf or putting in a little bit of presence around 3K. I think that would really make those sound nice. And it would make them just sit a little bit better and kind of pop out in the overall context of the mix.
Mis sueños que serán canciones en algún lugar que vengan para rescatarme, porque este amor
one other thing that I would love to hear, since this is such a good mix, excuse me, this is a fantastic mix. Like, print it, throw it on the record, throw it on the radio. It's outstanding. One thing that I would do, though, is that when you get to these bigger choruses and, you have additional background vocals come in, you might have some of that accordion come in just sitting in the background, maybe another guitar or two. One thing I love to do in my mixes is I like to put a stereo widening tool onto either my submix or my mix bus. Now, that might sound confusing if you guys have never seen my template, but my submix is essentially my mix bus, and my mix bus is my stereo out. So depending on what I want to do and where I want to do it, I'll put something like, let me show you. I might grab a plugin like BX Control. So I might go ahead and do something where we have a stereo width knob right here. And this can be any plugin. This is just something that I happen to use from time to time. And what I'll do is I'll automate the stereo width to increase on the choruses. So like the first hook, I might have it be like 100, because right now it's at 100%. I'm going to back it up a little bit here. So we're at 408. Let's go to like here. Okay, so we have stereo width is at 100. I'm just going to increase this so you guys can hear what it does. And I think automating this in and out when the hooks come in, when the choruses come in, has a really big impact on the listener. Nothing dramatic, not like where it's, wow, it's so far wide out, but you can kind of play some psychoacoustic tricks on the listener. Also, it's a similar concept to increasing the volume, like, your verse is at at unity or something like that, and then you might throw it up a dB or two for the chorus, and then bring it back down just so that the choruses really pop. Listen to what this will sound like if we increase this a little bit. So I set it to 140, and I'm just going to toggle it on and off and listen as the hook plays here. You can really, kind of bring it in and throw it out wide and really excite the listener. See, it's a subtle thing. It's not extremely dramatic, and I want to keep it at that point where it's not very noticeable. But it's a cool thing to do where it will keep the listener engaged, and it makes your choruses sound a whole lot bigger. All right, let's finish out the last little bit of this tune. Yeah, I love it. Insanely good mix. Amazing. Probably one of the best mixes that we've had here on a Mix Critique Monday. So, really well done, Federico. Huge round of applause from me. Some of the suggestions that I made, those were pretty much like you could do this. They weren't glaring holes of weakness in the mix by any means. I thought that was a truly outstanding job. Sounded amazing in my headphones here. And, really great job. I would love to hear some more of your work. I thought that was really well done. Love the genre. Love the squeeze box. Had some different instrumentation going on there. Thought the drum sounded very cool. Almost sounded like the drummer was hitting the snare with a brush or maybe a bundle stick. But, the bass was pocketed really nicely with the kick. And I just thought overall great job. Just really well done. So thanks for that, Federico. Really appreciate it. Next up, we have a track called Octagon, and this is mixed by Billy Hudson. So we're going to jump right into this one. And here's Octagon.
Никогда не осознавала, что я хотела этого. Ждала тебя так долго. Теперь я твоя, навеки твоя.
Drums sound very cool. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing is I don't know if it's a piano or an electric piano, maybe some type of a virtual instrument keys. It's kind of dominating the overall volume here. Let's go back a second. Yeah, I would definitely pull that down a bit. It's just kind of taking away from the vocal. Now, the vocal here to me sounds a little quiet. It sounds a little thin, and whatever effect you have on there, be it reverb, sounds a little crispy to me. If you encounter a crispiness when you put an effect on your vocal, so if you set up a send and a return and it's going to a reverb or it's going to a delay, one thing that I want to share with you that I love to do that I find to be extremely helpful is to make sure I always EQ before or after my reverb. I'll typically do it afterwards. You know, if the reverb itself doesn't have an EQ built into it, I will actually put a reverb after it. I like to use a high pass filter, so I'll high pass quite a bit, and then I'll also low pass the top, and that's where a lot of the crispiness comes from, is the top end of a reverb. So if you think about it, you're sending signal into the reverb, and it's going to brighten things up. So if it's emulating a room or a chamber or something like that where it has hard surfaces bouncing around, you're going to get a brighter overall sound. So if you EQ after the reverb, after the delay, similarly, it'll soften that up a lot, and I think it'll make the vocal sound a lot more natural. Let's keep going here.
Gonna be the one to love and keep you near. Never gonna be the one to have you by my side.
Strings sound really cool there, or that pad or whatever it is, very cool. The tambourine sounds a little bit washy to me. What I might do is, it sounds stereo. I might make it mono and then kind of pick one side. A lot of the times I'll take my tambourines and I will pan them to the same side as my hi-hat on the drum kit, because then it'll almost kind of emulate like your drummer's playing with a tambourine on the hi-hat. You can throw it the opposite side if you want, but that just seems like a little washy there. So just an idea to maybe tighten it up would be to make it mono and kind of pick one side to go on.
Dancing their song, heading for home. I wish you were here by my side. I'll never ever be the one to show you things like these. I'm never gonna be the one to love and keep you near. I'm never gonna be the one to have you by my side.
I'm hearing a little bit of build up in the low mids. I just want to see if we can high pass this and if we can pull out something around 100 here, maybe 200. Just something that I'm hearing. Yeah, right here around like 80 or 100, I'm seeing a lot of build up. I'd pull out probably a little 200 and then maybe something around where the bass fundamental is right here. The fundamental is essentially the sort of the, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. It's essentially like the root note that you're playing on the bass that is going to have the maximum impact in terms of amplitude. So right there, I'm just doing like a very, very gentle, I mean, these are kind of like mastering EQ moves where I'm pulling out like a dB and a half, maybe a dB right here, rolling off some of the lows with a high pass filter to 40 hertz. So I'm kind of just taking out a little bit of 80 and a little bit of 200. Let's back it up and bring it in and out and see how that's holding up in context. I'm going to put the auto gain on and let's listen. Yeah, I think just doing those two moves at the bottom, or three if you want to count the filter, I think that would just clean it up a little bit. I think it's giving in a weird way, it gives the low end actually more definition because it's not being overpowered by the bass fundamental or by the kick drum or anything like that. So, definitely check this out and play with it on your own. Throw it on your master fader or, if you've printed your mix and you don't want to go back, go into a mastering session. And just pull out like a little 80, 200, something in this region. I think could definitely benefit from taking out a dB or two. I'm gonna turn this off and let's finish this out. Love that ending. Very kind of dreamy, ambient. I kind of liked how I heard you automated that vocal effect up. Sounded really cool. Nice bit of ear candy, keeps the listener engaged there. Very cool kind of dreamy pop tune. Really dug it. Just a couple things. Like I said, I would take care of some of that. I would high pass a little bit of the bottom there. Take out a little 80, maybe a little 200 overall. Maybe try EQing the vocal effects, okay, to take back some of the vocal, kind of girth, beef, some of that vocal thickness that you want to remain. It's a delicate line there because you want your vocal to be thinned out enough where it's going to sit well and it's going to cut through, but at the same time you don't want to leave it completely alone like if it was a stripped down mix. So that could have been done in recording, so that might be a get it right at the source phase of your process there. If this is not one of your tunes though, and that's it's on, you're unable to go back and retrack it. I think maybe trying some EQing on your effects would help out a lot. So very cool track, Billy. Thank you so much for that. That was Octagon from Billy Hudson. Last up, we have a mix from Michael Byrne, and this is called Temporary Happiness. And the band is called WIND. So we're going to check this last one out here. Just bring this over, and here we go.
Let me tell you something about the freedom that you can only dream. Let me tell you something about the freedom that you can only dream. Ooh. Temporary happiness, we're living in a mess. Dreams.
Really dig the horn section there. Super cool. Very fun tune. The one thing that's kind of getting me though a little bit is that guitar and the vocal are really fighting for space right here.
Broken here. Temporary happiness.
I'm kind of hearing the guitars a bit up the middle, as is the vocal. One way to find a nice place for that guitar to sit might be to pan it harder right or harder left. And even when the horns came in too there, I was kind of struggling to hear the vocal a little bit. Also, when the band came in, the drums kind of really seemed to drop out. Sounds to me like it might be some type of drum software, which is fine. I just know that with you know, if you're using something like Easy Drummer, or if you're using something like Addictive Drums, sometimes you kind of have to, you know, EQ them a bit further. They already are EQ'd and compressed. You might just have to kind of finesse them a little bit, you know, especially if you're not using them as multi-tracks, like if you're not sending each individual drum out on its own. And if you're just using the drum loop, it can sometimes be hard to really hear, you know, all the drums as you normally would.
It is what it is in this world of plastic wheels. Surely we don't need tattoos a million miles from roots with a back shot for pop tunes.
I'm kind of left wanting a little bit more low end overall, like a little more kick and a little bit more bass.
Psychedelic shine to the morning light. I can hear every night. Woo-hoo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Temporary happiness.
Since we're at a chorus, I would bring the vocals up here. They're just getting a little bit buried. You know, that brass and the guitar is quite expansive in terms of the frequency range. So I would push the vocals up a little bit volume-wise. I might compress them a little bit more, hit them with a little bit of saturation or some type of harmonic sweetening, just to get them to kind of peak out a little bit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It beats low because there aren't any wounds in the neighborhood. My holidays innovation, my reasoning is not. I'm to ride out of knowledge. I would like to hear words in my ears. When time is always money, will someone put me on that soul train? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Temporary happiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, here it's that rhythm guitar that really needs to be out on one side or the other, because coming up the middle, it's just fighting with every other lead instrument. The vocal, it's fighting with the guitar solo right now. It's kind of battling with. So I think it would open up this mix a whole bunch more if you just threw that guitar to one side or the other. Because just up the middle, it's just not working for me. It's getting in the way of some of the other things. The good news is it's a super easy fix to make. So.
Not much chance in Amsterdam, not much chance in New York City too. The dance so outstanding, the cardboard smiles too. It's no longer any good song. Last is first, destiny is destitute.
Really dig the tune. It's super fun, you know. It's rocking, it's funky, it's all that kind of stuff. I'd love to know about the brass. Shoot me an email, Michael. Let me know what's up with the brass. If you recorded that. If so, how did you know, how many pieces are in there? Did you use ribbon mics, dynamic mics? What you know, it sounds really good. So you know, big props on that.
The louder of fools, broadcast the air, champions are dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Temporary happiness. 1, 2.
This is another track like with the last one. Like on Souvenir, I was talking about, man, I would love to hear just like a little bit more stereo width, or you know, on the choruses. And here I would actually love to hear kind of like a volume bump on the choruses to really make them kind of lift up and elevate to separate from the verses, because it's kind of almost very not monotone, but you know, the volume is kind of just cruising the whole way. It's kind of like here, and you know, and that's okay. But you know, it's very easy to just automate your chorus, you know, up a few dB and then bring it back down for the verse. I, you know, constantly think in dynamics. I always try and think of how can I dynamically enhance this song, you know, if I'm mixing something like that. And, you know, constantly changing volumes, you know, I was watching, I forget what it was, but Jakir King. If any of you guys don't know who Jakir King is, unbelievable mixer. He's done huge records like, I forget the name of the Kings of Leon, but the really big Kings of Leon record with Use Somebody and Sex on Fire and all that stuff. Huge record. The James Bay record that I love. He's an absolute beast. I love him. But I was watching him talk about mixing, and he was kind of talking about how much of a role automation plays in his mix process. Like EQing, compressing, sweetening, using effects is like the first 50% of what he does. And then like the second 50% is how can we automate this and move stuff around to kind of think of like a conductor with an orchestra. It's kind of bringing that performance out of the mix. Once everything has its place, then we'll move it around. Now we're going to make it sound exciting. And it's really crazy. I would say go ahead and YouTube Jakir King and watch as much stuff as you can on him. My buddy Graham Cochran over at therecordingrevolution.com has an amazing interview with him up on his channel. You should go check out for sure. I know Graham studied under him at Mix with the Masters over in France. And, you know, I mean, Graham's great, Jakir's great, but just an idea here. I would get a little bit creative with the automation, because I feel like this track, it's so cool, but it just needs a little bit of dynamic difference while we're listening.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Temporary happiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Temporary happiness. Temporary happiness. Temporary happiness.
So, you know, that's really cool there. I love that you're kind of going double time on the BPM there. I'm assuming this is your band, your song, and your mix, Michael. You know, and if it is, you know, really big props there. Coming from a production point of view, I think, you know, what a great way to keep the listener engaged on a tune. Kind of changing up the you know, the time. Awesome.
Temporary happiness. Happy, 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 happy now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Temporary happiness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Cool little bass line there. The bass player is just dishing right now, just walking and, you know, dragging up octaves and stuff like that. I would love to hear a little bit more bass here. Overall, I'd love to hear more bass, but especially like in this part when the bass player is really dishing, push the bass up a little bit. Automation, make all the difference.
6, 7, 8, 9. Temporary happiness. Temporary happiness. Temporary happiness. Temporary happiness. Temporary happy now.
Woo, smoking, huh? What a killer tune. Super fun. Also, let me know if you track that live, because it definitely has like a live feel to some of it with like some overdubs going on there. Really cool song, really fun how it kind of changes tempo and flows throughout. Love the good time party feel. It's funky, it's rocking, it's a little country, it's kind of rootsy. Just a great track. So overall, super well done mix. All three of these were really solid. But Michael, definitely take on board a couple of those things there. Like I said, I would love to know with some of the things that I asked. Feel free to shoot me an email if you want to let me know. But again, another 3 great mixes, and I'm not just saying that. I don't just say these things. I really continue to be amazed and impressed. You guys are doing such good jobs, and that makes me feel good. And I just want everyone to be able to make the best music that they can. And again, if there's anything further that you guys want from me during these mix critiques, if there's anything that you'd like to know, anything additional that I'm not doing for you, please, leave a comment below, shoot me an email. Definitely feel free to get in touch. But really well done. Big props to Federico Lepre with Souvenir was the first mix up. Second one was Octagon from Billy Hudson, and then last that we just heard, Temporary Happiness by WIND, mixed by Michael Byrne. 3 great tracks, 3 great mixes. Very impressed. Really great job. So, guys, keep up the good work. If any of you would like a free mix critique, keep them rolling in. I love it. I'm having a blast doing this, and you guys seem to be enjoying it. So, as long as you want me to do it I will do it. Just shoot me an email, pete@mixbetternow.com. I'll put a link down below. Drop me an email. Just put your name, the name of the track. If there's a band involved and then you mixed it and it's different, include all that information, but just provide a downloadable MP3 or a WAV file so that I can download it and I can drag it into Studio One here and line it up. That's all you got to do. So it's as easy as that. All right, so this has been another Mix Critique Monday. It is December the 19th, 2016. Again, guys, I appreciate you submitting so much. This is going to be the last Mix Critique Monday for 2016. I hope everybody has an amazing holiday season. Be safe, keep making music, and have a very, very happy new year. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you next year. I know that sounds funny, but it's true. I will catch you next year. Next Mix Critique Monday will be the first Monday in January. So until then, guys, be good, keep making good music, and I'll catch you then.